House. All right, welcome to another edition of 10 Minutes With. As you can see, Kate is not here today. She's got to take care of some things, so I'm running solo again. So with me today, I want to introduce Anthony Dietrich and Kevin Costello of the Left Turns and Loud Noises podcast. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
Thank you for having both of us.
Yes, awesome. Thanks for coming on. But as you can see in typical auto racing discussions, they're both recording from their cars.
This has become the recording studio.
Yeah.
Hey, when you need a quiet place, the cars, they're insulated pretty well now. So it's a great place to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So
got the AC running the way I want.
Being in Florida, that's a good thing. So
yeah.
We'll kick it right off. How'd you guys meet and why'd you start a podcast?
Well, Kevin, you want to go?
I was going to say you take the lead on this one, but since I'm talking, I'll go. So this started all back in, I want to say January of 2019. So me and Anthony are both somewhat frequent visitors of the r/NASCAR subreddit. And I see a post by Anthony saying, hey, anyone want to start a podcast? And the email he sent to, if you wanted to submit an application or anything was a Florida State University email. And I'm a Florida State student. So I was like, oh, cool. Someone else who goes to FSU who likes to talk about motorsports and whatnot. So I emailed him, found out he had already graduated, but I still stuck with it. And honestly, ever since then, pretty much every week we've been recording an episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about the gist of it. I held a couple interviews, and most of them were just kind of like former NASCAR YouTubers trying to get on to a different platform. We had me and Kevin do about, like I said, let's do a 15-minute session, just see how we mesh together. We ended up running and talking for an hour. So immediately I said, this is my co-host. And we got one more person on with us at the time, Nolan, who was also someone from the subreddit. I think that like I said, 4 or 5 people came through, and I did a bunch of interviews, and these were the 3 that worked the best. So we did a couple episodes, and then we added Alex after he came on, and then our good friend from r/NASCAR, Jeremy Methfield, joined the podcast as well. Now there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's usually you hear about Reddit and you hear people ripping each other apart, but I mean, this actually builds something up.
There's a fair share of that too. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
We try to stay as level-headed as we can here.
Yeah.
So what, you said this was just kind of a meeting by chance on Reddit, work together. Mm-hmm. So what would you describe your show, what your atmosphere, what should a listener expect listening to your show?
Kevin, you want to take the lead on this one too?
Yeah, I'll go for it. I'd say, honestly, that we're not afraid to pull punches. Like, we shoot the shit, pretty much saying everything. We give our honest opinion. So our typical episode usually goes, we'll review the previous weekend's races, not only just NASCAR, but IndyCar or Formula One, or even if it's a bigger event like IMSA or the Chili Bowl, whatever it is. And then we'll talk about stuff that happened throughout the week, news and whatnot, and then we'll usually end it with predictions of what we think this next weekend goes like. We have a point system this year that we're in a pretty close battle for the lead right now. So we pick 3 drivers that we think will have a chance to compete for the win, and then the winner at the end gets nothing but pride, but that's all we're shooting for.
I said it was a $25 buy-in. Just, I wanted some cash on this thing since I'm the one winning. So I'm the one winning right now. That's why.
I have actually a buddy of mine. We used to play a fantasy NASCAR on Yahoo for years, and for years we just, they do the A, B, C driver and the C driver. Mm-hmm. They're like part timers, but you always find that one driver in the C that just kind of seems to. It's like. Frequently, it's Paul Menard.
Yeah. Oh God, we love Paul Menard. Oh, we had the same thing. We have like dark horse, sleeper, and favorite, and our dark horse has actually won 2 weeks in a row recently with Austin Dillon and Cole Custer. So, you never know with who you're picking, and it gets a slew of points. So it's fun. I really look forward to the picks every week, even if we didn't do it this week.
All right, This next one, I'm going to go off topic. Well, it's on topic, but off of what we talked about beforehand. Will Michael McDowell ever win a cup race?
Probably if he gets like the luckiest push of all time at Talladega. I'll tell you one person who's not pushing him. That's Bubba Wallace.
He was not happy the other week. I did see.
Yeah,
that.
Neither was I. That was not really called for on lap 5. But either way, I mean, I don't think McDowell's winning, but it can go either way with these drivers because at this point with the season, you have like wild card races, we call them, Daytona, Talladega, and now the Daytona Road Course. So you never know.
I was gonna say he's probably gonna be my dark horse pick for the Daytona Road Course. Since he has a road course racing background and there is no practice or whatever going into that race. So if he has a chance to win any race besides a super speedway race, it's definitely that one. So I'd be surprised. Don't get me wrong, but also. I wouldn't be completely blown out of the water.
You're gonna pull a Marco Ambrose on us?
I could see it.
Yeah, that could happen. That could totally happen. Sorry, you got 2 NASCAR nerds. We're gonna go on and on.
Oh yeah.
No, that's fine. I'm just pulling all the obscure NASCAR references I can.
I appreciate you, bud. I appreciate it.
All right, so oh man, I lost my train of thought here. That's all right. We don't edit here.
That's what happens every time on the podcast.
Unless it's a really, really bad script, we don't edit here. So, as far as you talk about your picks and everything. So let's spin it off. What's your favorite track on the series?
Ooh, I mean, personally for me, I like going to actual races. Talladega, there's nothing better. Me and Kevin met up for the first time there last year. That was awesome. It's a race I look forward to every year. Watkins Glen for a while was a race I looked forward to, and the Bristol night race is incredible. That's probably my favorite, and obviously the Daytona 500. I mean, Kevin, I feel like I pretty much hit everything on the head there.
Yeah, so the best introduction race you can get any fan to experience is the Bristol night race. But then if you're going to watch any race, a lot of people say watch the Daytona 500. Well, that is a fantastic race. Daytona and Talladega, out of the two, I would watch Talladega in a heartbeat because it's faster, wider. It tends to be better finishes. So I'd say watch either Talladega race, and that's the one you got to watch on TV.
And Kevin, don't forget the start finish line is not in the trioval.
Yeah, you're right. The football field or two away. Yeah, every broadcast.
A couple thousand feet, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And
that's Carl Edwards.
With Talladega, you always have the big one. You end up seeing Carl Edwards thrown into the fence. I mean, all kinds of great. I mean, it's an amazing track. It's just there's never a shortage of action, especially when you get into the last 20 laps.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And I have a friend who used to go down to Talladega every year for the race. He'd drive down there and he'd do the what's it called now? The Xfinity series. I keep wanting to call it. I keep wanting to call it Busch series. I'm showing my age here, and then I got my prop. I'm like, the Winston Cup. Back when cigarette sponsorships were still okay.
Yeah. But good times.
He would drive down there. He'd go to the Busch race, and then he'd camp out overnight in the parking lot. And he said that, he would go down there just for the camping overnight between the Saturday and the Sunday race. And he said it's just it's like a festival out there. And I mean, have you guys done anything like that?
We did that last fall.
Yeah, I was in the college section, and I do music festivals all the time, and it was just about as wild. I mean, the people out there are something else. Like, I call it the redneck Bonnaroo, basically. Like, it is so much fun out there. People staying up all night. There's concerts. There's people doing the craziest things you can imagine. And, I mean, the atmosphere is wonderful. I can't wait to go back again in the hopefully near future. When everything's a little safer and we can start figuring out, because it is a far drive for me and Kevin, but totally worth that 10 hours, 11 hours to make it up there.
The best way I can describe Talladega, the experience there, is the Friday night before the Cup race, they have this party in the infield, and they call it the big one. And I guess just to give a brief summary, in about a span of 15 minutes, me and Anthony met the president of NASCAR, about 10 of the drivers who were racing on Sunday, and then saw strippers. That's just how Talladega is, man.
That was about an ounce of it too. We met we got to hang out with the eventual race winner too, and I talked to him for 10 minutes. Ryan Blaney's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's I've been to 2 tracks. I've been to Indianapolis. I've been to Phoenix, and
jealous.
It wasn't. I mean, Indianapolis, it's got its own history whether it's a NASCAR track or not. That's a discussion for another time. But in Phoenix, you go into the infield area and it's just so packed. Like there's just it's a small track. They just, as part of the renovation, built garages for the first time. It's like, I don't know how they were looking on cars. Like, you have to have it in March and November, because if you had it any other time of year, people would be dying out there, just heat stroke left and right. And the first year I moved out here, we bought a VIP pass so we could go out there and walk around, and we got to walk on the track and everything. And
that's cool.
And we went out there, and the next thing I know, I turn around and the NBCU pre-race set is there. And this guy gets out of the way, and they're like, all right, we're going live. And the camera comes on, and my friend and I were standing in the back, right in the front. We're like, yeah, we're on TV. Awesome.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome as hell.
I took my wife, who had never watched a NASCAR race in her life, and she admitted she had a great time. She's like, I thought it was just a bunch of left turns and then boring and crashes. And she goes, it was so much more than that. I'm like, that's usually what happens when you take.
What year did y'all go to Phoenix?
This would have been the November of 2016 race, and I want to
Kevin Harvick probably.
Probably. That was Logano, because that was when
I think it was Logano, actually.
Yeah, that was when Bowman led that entire race, and then
yes, that's right. That huge wreck at the end with Bowman. Oh wow.
The crazy thing about that race is I don't think there was a single wreck in that race. The only yellow flag was on lap 1, and we were coming in onto turn 4, coming onto the front stretch before they rearranged the track, and here comes everybody around. Everybody's going fine, and I've got my phone up. I'm taking a picture of the cars coming by, and all of a sudden, here comes Kyle Larson spinning out around turn 4. And he didn't make any contact with anybody, and he turned around. I think he still finished in the top 10, but I'm just like, you're spinning out on turn 4 of lap 1. This is going to be a long day for you.
And you never know with those days.
What I'd suggest is, that you alluded to it earlier, they redid pretty much the whole track, and from what I've seen, it looks like the Daytona of the West Coast. That place is so the art now. I think that per square footage, I'm pretty sure they put more money into that remodeling than they did at Daytona. So Phoenix is probably the next track on my bucket list besides Bristol that I haven't been to, just because of what they've done with it. And from the people that I've met and heard things about, everything about that place is just up to top. The people are so nice, and the camping is kind of like Talladega, all around the track they camp.
Yeah, it's just there's just a giant dirt lot that runs what seems like forever, and we came in Sunday morning. We didn't do any camping because I live about 40 minutes from the track. I'm in there, and you just see RVs for miles, it seems, and then when there's a bridge you walk over. There's just kind of a sort of a river or a creek or whatever you call it in Phoenix. There's not much water in there, but you go over this little bridge, and all of a sudden they've got the RV sale there, and they literally have price tags. It's like $75,000.
Yeah.
And then there's others that have sold signs. People come to this NASCAR race and bought an RV at the race.
Oh yeah.
And it just blew my mind.
I might do that at Talladega one year. You never know, honestly. The RVs are awesome. I got to hang out in one for the race last year and watch the race from the infield. It is it changes your whole experience for the weekend. The amount of beer you can bring in. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I've successfully derailed. We are way over our time.
No, you're good. You're good.
Like I said, I don't care. Usually Kate's the one in charge of the stopwatch and the one in charge of shutting me up. So she's not here, so whatever.
You're good. We're loving it.
All right. So piece of advice you've learned since you started podcasting that you'd share with somebody.
I learned this. Let me go real quick, Kevin.
Yeah,
you get all the answers here, bud. I learned to make sure not to constantly be checking the your streams and everything, to see how many people are on there, because it can really discourage a young podcaster. I know when we started, we were barely getting 30 listeners a week, and then all of a sudden we hit a huge spike, and we were like over 100 streams per episode on like multiple different episodes, and all it took was just one good interview. So just keep at it, no matter what. It's a tough process, but don't be discouraged if you see you only have 10, 15, 20 streams, because like your loyal fans will be loyal. Like, it's crazy when I find out that there are people who listen to every single episode we put out, and I'm just like, why?
I feel the same way. I know.
It's crazy, but I love those guys.
So, Kevin?
Yeah, I'd say kind of alluded or what Anthony said. Don't check numbers. Like, do it because you love to do it. Like, when I first started this, I didn't think, honestly, I was like, well, if no one listens, I still get to talk about racing, which is something that I love to do in general. So why not put it out there for, if anyone wants to listen to it, be my guest.
Yeah.
So it's what we do. We do this from the heart. We're not trying to impress anyone. We're just doing it for fun. And it's been a blast this year and a half.
Awesome. And I mean, you covered 2 points here that are been frequent as far as our previous guests. And one is the authenticity, get that ESPN first take garbage out and actually have authentic discussions. And the second thing is, with the listeners, and this is something I love to talk about, is, the best advice I've been given with podcasting is, when you first start, nobody's going to listen. You just have to accept that. And the best part is, when nobody's listening, that's when you find you and your rhythm and your presentation, that when you get to episode 50 or whatever, you got it. You know what you're doing. You've got the production down. People start listening. They don't come in and listen to you episode 1 where you sound like a AM radio or whatever. But that's the way to do it. I'm glad you guys said that. So to wrap it up here real quick, where can we find the show? Where can we find you on social media?
Well, our podcast is on everything. We're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. We're on iHeartRadio. You can just look us up on Google, literally Left Turns and Loud Noises. Find us on social media at LTLN podcast. Is there an underscore there, Kevin?
I don't think there's an underscore.
You correct me all the time on the podcast.
I know. I think it's just LTN podcast. Yeah.
It's LTLN podcast. Just type in Left Turns and Loud Noises and you'll find us. We're in a lot of places, even I find surprising sometimes. We're not on YouTube though yet. Not until this goes out.
There you go. And this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you both for coming on today.
Yeah,
dude, thank you so much. Absolute blast.
And if you ever have a guest shortage, I'm a terrible guest who's always available.
We'll literally put anyone on. We put on an internet troll named Carnation Boy once. We'll put on anyone.
Hope it doesn't backfire too badly. But hey.
No, we'll love it, man. Just get on Discord, hop on, let's talk some NASCAR.
All right. Okay, so everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Give us a follow at Stadium Scene on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, at Stadium_Scene on Instagram. Join the network at stadiumscene.tv, and we will see you next time.